Well, good morning and welcome back to the shop. Boy, it has been a while since I put a video out, but I've started working back on the cobra again. It was quite hot here at 33 degrees Celsius, high humidity, 100 Fahrenheit, I guess, simple equation, but basically hot and very difficult to work. So what we've done is we've installed the new hinges. The new hinges have come back for the door, and boy, are they beefy. I mean, this, if you remember the other hinges, they were maybe 1.5 inches thick steel or wide. And as far as the thickness, this is, I mean, that's got to be, 3/8 inch thick steel. This was done on a press. You can see the bend in here. So this was meticulously built, very nicely done. But like I said, beefy hinge. But let me show you the advantage. So now what I've done is I've mounted the driver's door with the new hinge on it. And the first thing you're going to see if we open the door is the deflection is a lot less. And I mean, I'm putting on some good pressure on that, and that's hardly deflecting. And the nice part is you can actually slam the door now. That's how it should have been in the first place, rather than wobbling and knocking itself. So very easy to open and close. The nice thing about the hinge as well is it's holding the door very square. The hinge has two adjustments. One adjustment allows me to move the door in and out so I can rock the door. The other adjustment allows me to move the door forward and back. Now, we absolutely had fitment issues, but I remember, as I mentioned to you earlier, there wasn't a lot of detail work done on this Cobra, so there was a lot of gap issues, huge gap issues, as you can see with my finger. Now you'd say to yourself, well, then just push the door back. Well, if I push the door back, I'm going to open up a huge gap up here. But down here, it starts to get really big again. And the best way to fix that is not to extend the door. If you extend the door, you run a risk of cracking. But what I can do is I can work on this surface here, or this area here. I can break this area up. This is solid. I can layer on top of that, and I'm not going to have any risk of cracking. So that's the good thing about that. So I would rather make repairs in here, bring the body out to adjust the door. Now, everything else I've been working on has been trying to get this as flush as possible with the door, and of course it is not. It is a mess. But a little bit of work, a little bit of flat, using the flat board and sanding, and of course I have to do some filling here, because remember, this whole corner was gone. I filled this all up. This is all new glass, and of course I left it down because we want to now be able to build this up with filler and then blend that filler in so that, again, we reduce the cracking issues. So like I said, probably going to have at least 5 or 6 hours roughly in the door. I mean, because we're going to have to fill, we're going to sand, we have to level it. All the adjustments I've made on the hinges are done. I can't do anything more with the hinges. Everything else is bodywork. Anyways, I'll see you in a few minutes, because what I'm going to do is work on this door, and then I'll show you the end result.
4 hours later.
Okay, so the first thing I learned is that in this temperature, I've got about a minute, maybe a minute and a half to work with the body filler. Anything after that, it starts to harden up right away. So plan and mix smaller batches, and that seemed to work. Now, what have we been doing for 4 hours? Well, for you guys, it's been 30 seconds since I came back, but we have spent all that time on the gaps. Now, the camera's not doing it justice, but when you look at the video, like I said, 30 seconds ago, for me 4 hours ago, these gaps were terrible. I could get my finger in these gaps. And back here it was horrible as well. There was a huge gap back here, and this was terrible, and then even down here was horrible. So the idea was we had to fill the door out a bit, so we had to do a lot of work on the door. We had to fiberglass it, reinforce the door, and then move the filler out to that fiberglass, and then sandwich the fiberglass with filler. That way we're not going to get any cracks, so we have to make sure that that is well done. Up in here, this was low, but we built this all up in here, so again, we're nice and flush here as well. And back here was the same thing. This corner was ripped out. We fixed that. This seam here now is nice and flush all the way along. Some changes, but again, very difficult with fiberglass. But as I said, the key thing is this door now with these new hinges. This is solid, it doesn't move, and again, you don't have to worry that you're going to chip the paint on this door now that you can close the door with the hinges. So 5 hours, 5.5 hours on one door. We've got another door, and then we've got a hood and a trunk. Once we've got all of them on and we do the gaps just like we did this door, Once all the gaps are set, we can finally remove all the doors and hinges and the hoods and trunk, and we can finally put primer on this car. Now, we've got some nice weather coming up. Moderate weather, not 35 degrees and humid, but more like 22, 23 and dry. Perfect painting weather. Whether or not I can get it done, that'll be the key. But like I said, I'm going to try. I'm going to see if I can do it by Friday. But hopefully you guys will forgive me if I don't. Got a lot of work still to do. So anyways, just wanted to give you a quick update to where we were. Hopefully get some paint Friday. Maybe. Anyways, we'll see then. But until then, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. And I'll see you again.